Job was quite the guy. In fact, the book in the Bible about Job is the first book that was ever put into Holy Scripture. It's ancient. I don't know how many centuries it goes back, but everybody knows about Job. I mean, here's this hugely rich guy who loses everything, including his health. He's sitting on a dunghill, scraping his boils. Even his wife is saying, you know, Job, you make me sick. Why don't you just curse God and die? Enough with this great faith of yours already. What's it done for you lately? Frankly, I think we can all identify with her. However, his three friends come, such friends. In comforting him, they come up with all the reasons why he's suffering the way he's suffering. And they just go at him. The poor guy, I mean, scraping his boils and defending himself at the same time. And at one point, while he's taking stock of his life and defending himself, he says this in chapter 29, verse 12. I assisted the poor in their need and the orphans who required help. I helped those without hope, and they blessed me. And I caused the widows' hearts to sing for joy. First of all, in that passage, Job says he wore righteousness like a robe, justice like a turban, which has an interesting application. Righteousness and justice coming from outside of oneself. Sounds like putting on Christ in New Testament terms. Nevertheless, all the accusations of his comforters melted away in the light of Job's record of being a father to the poor. He was a father to the poor, a father to the fatherless, and he caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. How? By defending them legally. He was a great man, and he sat in the gates of his city. And in Old Testament terms, cultural, historical reality of the time, the essential court, or even supreme court of the culture, consisted of elders sitting out of doors at the gates of the city, making judgments as people brought their complaints and their accusations and what have you, for their deliberation. And so many times widows were brought before these fierce-looking men, and in most cases the accusation was they haven't paid their debts, they haven't paid their dues or whatever. And Job would defend them, and in many cases he would fund them, so that they came in terror with the expectation of maybe being thrown into debtor's prison for the rest of their lives, with no concern on the part of the legislators for the well-being of her orphan children. She left with joy because Job cared for her as a defender. And it's interesting, the Apostle Paul encourages us to imitate God. How do you imitate God? I think the point he's making is you can imitate God by caring for the lowest common denominator as he does. Several days ago, I reminded you of David's words in Psalm 68, where God is a father to the fatherless, a defender of widows. In caring for the lowest common denominator, in caring for the most easily victimized, the most easily preyed upon, the least powerful, one is actually being, if you will, the hand, the arm of God extended and embracing the helpless, the broken, the afflicted, the prisoner, the refugee. Righteousness and justice, whether you wear it like a robe or a turban, or whether you care for people in other ways, the point being this, that as you are in right relationship with God and right relationship with neighbor, as you are righteous and you are just, you literally become God's hand extended.